Hello, beautiful people. Today we are going to talk family constellations, and we are going to find out if it could be true that you are carrying trauma from other generations. In my personal experience, the therapy that I most emotional got in my life is been through family constellations. And as many of you know, I have done a lot of different therapies. That this one specifically was super emotional. And I learned also to respect the hierarchy that sometimes we break in families. But I found a very interesting woman that talks a lot and does a wonderful work with family constellations. So we have here Marine Celine. I hope I am pronouncing it right.
Sorry, Monica.
And thank you so much for accepting my invitation to talk today about family constellations. And please share us a little about your journey and how you end up doing family constellations.
So thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for your trust. So my name is Marine Cellini. I was born and raised in France, Paris. And I studied psychology because I wanted to become a psychologist. But after graduating, something was missing in my way, of doing psychology, and I could not fully align with it. So I've decided to move to the United States. And the first state was Miami in Florida. And that's when I discovered Family Constellations. Actually, I always say that Family Constellations found me. And not, the opposite, because to be completely honest with you, I had no idea that modality, that therapy, I had no idea, it existed. And after a painful divorce in the beginning of my 20s, I met that woman who introduced me to Family Constellations after doing herself a workshop in New York. And she was like, you should try. It is so powerful. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get so many things. And I was like, you know what? Whatever, like I can try, whatever you want, because I was so broke, and still very skeptical about, any therapeutic works, and spirituality and well-being coming from France. But I gave a try. And I had my first constellation when I was 24, 23, years old. And it was love at first sight.
Oh.
I was like you said, wow, wow, breathtaking, amazing resolution, reconciliation, like truly just seeing the reality, the truth of it, like without, putting your own judgment or complaining or blaming. And so I fell in love. I fell in love with it. Long story short, I worked on myself for 1 year doing family constellations. I would say pretty every weekend. I was obsessed with it. And then finally, I decided to study family constellation. My teachers are Susie Tucker and Mark Wallin, as I studied actually with Bert Hellinger. And then finally, in 2014, I launched my private practice. And so it's been 10 years now that I have been spreading the word about it. So yeah, I'm a passionate.
Oh, I love it. So, and I think it's very important when we have the experience, right? It's not something that theoretically we're saying this work, but it has worked in our own lives. But for someone that has never heard about family constellations, what is family constellations?
So family constellations is the study of your family story, your family system. And it helps you to uncover and dissolve any blockages affecting your current life in any areas of your life. It can be professional, personal, love, friendship, health, abundance, anything. And it was founded by Bert Hellinger in the 50s. And I mean, it's just amazing when you finally understand that without making peace with your past, with your family, with your story, it's going to be very hard to be fully grounded in your present moment.
I'm feeling your words. Yes. No, it's true because like I always took a lot of responsibility for my life. So I never wanted to put it like in the past, right? Like it was like, I didn't want to blame, if you want, my family, right? Until I really did a family constellation. First, I think life had to shake me to really put me there. Very humble, okay, what I can. And also what happened is like, I saw it, there is a Netflix series. And when I
Yes.
saw it, I was like, oh my gosh. Like you said, sometimes it finds you when you are ready, right? So then I did it. And like one thing that I want to talk that it was very interesting, it was the hierarchy, right? Because in my own personal experience, I become the mom of my mom. And through family constellations, I learned that you can't, right? And I had to put my mom back as a daughter of my grandma. And then I will find out also that my grandma was in the same kind of pattern with her mom, right? So, but without knowing, sometimes we are carrying, right? Like all this story that we don't know, but is manifesting in how our life is happening, right? Until we really are gonna go. Can you talk a little about hierarchy and how that works when you are going back in your ancestral?
So, if I understand correctly your
Yes.
question, Monica, what you talked about, becoming the mother of my mother is such a common pattern, like in a family system. And of course, you have to be aware that it did not start with you. It's
Ooh.
just repeating, like over and over again until finally someone, you in that case, like decides to break free from it and to be like, you know what, I don't want to be the mom of my mom, like I want to be her daughter. So then if you have children or if you think of having children, like you will be the mother and your children will be your children. But there is, of course, that respect of generations behind you.
Yeah.
And you always have, to accept and respect.
Mhm.
Love comes after. Because then, of course,
Oh,
it
wow.
depends, like of any abusive family, as violence, sexual abuse, molestation, trauma, etc., etc. So I never force my clients to love their parents.
Mhm.
Sometimes, unfortunately, it's not because you're related, blood related, that love, belongs.
Mm.
So it's only respect and acceptance. And I would even say that when, unfortunately, you had abusive parents, there is that beautiful sentence, healing affirmation that we say in constellations work, is you lose your rights, but you cannot lose your place.
Ooh.
Meaning, you
You
never,
lose your rights.
you lose your
Mhm.
rights, but you never lose your place. Because if, for example, your father was violent, okay,
Mhm.
and you're like, you know what, I just want to get rid of him, so then my problem doesn't exist anymore. Guess what? Between you and your grandparents on your father's side, there's going to be a gap.
Mhm.
And we don't like humanity, don't like gap, we don't like, like when it's empty.
Yeah.
So no matter what, you on a subconscious level, you are going to look for someone else to be your dad.
Mhm.
Is it going to be your husband? Is it going to be one of your children? Is it going to be one of your friends? But the dynamic is going to become a catastrophe because that person in front of you, they don't want
Yeah.
to be, behind you and your father. So that's why it's always very, very important to just recognize what's behind you.
Mhm.
Parents, grandparents, ancestors. Always respect and acceptance. You can always, of course, protect yourself, from any abuse, with a bubble, for example, I protect myself, I am safe where I am. And it's also very important with your unborn siblings,
Oh, wow.
miscarriages, abortions,
Mhm.
stillborn, IVF. Because how many times I have clients feeling that I don't belong or I feel torn, between two
Mhm.
places, two countries, two lovers. And most of the time, they just follow a miscarriage or an abortion. And so they are a rainbow baby. And in that case, there is such a strong feeling of guilt of being alive that you're always going to be in between, like two passions, two options, and unable to make any decisions. So here as well, it's not a hierarchy in that way because it's part of your
Mhm.
same
Okay.
generation. But it is so important to recognize your unborn siblings, because maybe you think you're the oldest one. Well, actually, the oldest one, as a pregnancy of your mom, is actually a miscarriage. So you're not the first pregnancy, you're the second pregnancy.
Mm-hmm.
And this can change everything. I've seen it, I've witnessed it. It's beautiful.
Wow. So also they say like your mom is gonna like, what is the area in your life that will be kind of stuck if it comes from an abandon of your father or your mom? Because I have heard sometimes that the mom represents the money in your life. Is that true? Or
For me, no, but
no?
for me, no.
Okay,
But
perfect.
you know
No.
what? Like the mom represents success.
Success.
Because sometimes, we kind of combine money and success, which is completely two different things. Like money is an outcome of success.
Yes.
That's it. But you can also feel very successful by having 5 chicken, 1 cow, 2 horses, like, and, being at a farm, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like success is very personal,
Correct.
like for some people it's going to be having 2 billions on your bank account. And for someone else, like, no, I have 3 children and they are my success.
Healthy. Yeah.
So the relationship with your mom, yes, is all about success. It's all about receiving. It's all about taking your place in a group. I would say money is more related to the masculine energy.
Mm-hmm.
Because the masculine energy is more in the confidence, self-esteem, self-worth, money, like I can make, 10,000 per month, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's my view of it. Then to go back to your first question about abandonment. So there is a term, interrupted movement. We use it until 6 years old, and actually even before 2 years old. It's when the bonding between the child and the mother was incomplete.
Oh.
Either the mother passed away, or she got very sick, or she got separated from her baby, like after giving birth, or because, she had to go back to work after 2 weeks, like. So here, most of the time, we can see that interrupted movement that creates anger, I would say, in the child, because not feeling, like I'm not complete, like I'm still, looking for mom. With a father, it's a little bit more different. It's slightly more different, for the simple reason that they're not the one pregnant.
Oh, okay.
Because that connection with a mother, those 9 months, no man will ever get them back. Those 9 months are really between the mom and the baby. That's it. You know what? And your baby already knows that person, that voice, everything, like it's my safety blanket, like it's my safety net, And so, of course, I'm not going to say it's so easy when your father abandoned you. No, not at all. I would say the impact of a father abandonment is more on a relationship with a masculine. For example, as a woman, you might actually look for your father, in every man. You might be attracted to emotionally unavailable men. You might also have a huge lack of confidence, of just, like thinking that you are worth it. I would say it's more in your persona as an adult. Well, actually, I would say the mother impacts more the childhood.
Wow.
But again, it's my own perception.
You are the expert here.
After working 10 years, like, so then, yeah.
Now we are learning, because I'm sure you have like a lot of years now doing this, and I am sure you have seen a lot of trauma.
Yes.
What is coming? Like there is a pattern that certain traumas that come for stages, like right now in the world. What are you seeing a lot right now?
Great question. The masculine and feminine being at war.
Ooh, you gave me the chills.
Very, very hard.
That's a great question. I have a question about that because, like we grew up in this generation to be like a strong woman, and we are raising a strong young woman, right? And we start getting into the masculine a lot, right? How can we balance staying in our feminine and and being able to be so successful today and do so many things, because like you said, many women go to work after they have their babies, and without knowing, probably they are generating abandonment, right? And anger, for what I understood, in the baby.
Yeah, like, I mean, those women, they're the real heroes. Unfortunately, the society is not made to support women after having a baby, after having a miscarriage, after, like having an abortion, like it's still something so taboo, like it's not even they don't understand, is they don't want to understand. So that's completely different here. And the society is still very patriarchal. Let's be honest here. I was born in the 80s, where it was a beginning actually of strong women being raised. My mom was a very strong businesswoman, so she always told me to never depend on any man, especially financially.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, at first, our idea of being successful as a woman was to becoming like a man.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we were wrong.
Correct.
Because the beauty of a man and woman is actually our differences, like are complementary.
Yeah.
But of course, like when you say don't show your emotions, don't be weak, like just be stronger, and everything, it creates extreme, behaviors. And especially as a woman, like, because you can see women, and good for them if they feel good 2 weeks after going back to work, you know what, if it's your decision, sure. But it also creates guilt.
Mm-hmm.
And some husbands are so stupid, sorry but not sorry, to
I love you already.
compare, your wife and the other one, like already look how hot she is, after 2 weeks. Yeah, you know what? It's not me. You know what? Like, look, she is working now. Yes, you know what? It's not me either, like, and there is no acceptance towards women's journey, towards women's cycle, towards women's pregnancy, and above all, towards women's pain.
Oof.
And so that's how we thought, like, you have to be strong, you have to become a man, na. Finally, we are going back from that, which I love, because it has also been a disaster in terms of pregnancy. So many miscarriages, so many, like infertility. And I don't think, I mean, sure, with the food, etc. But I also think it's just the fear of being so vulnerable and not being supported by the masculine.
Oof. Wow.
That also, prevent. It's like, can I really trust you? You're not gonna go on Tinder, like you're not going to ghost me, like, we are in this very insecure, relationship couple that is very damaging actually for the feminine, because the feminine is all about receiving and the masculine is all about giving. And that's always what I say: men do good to feel good, women feel good to do good.
Ooh, oh my gosh, we have to write that down.
And that's so different, what, Monica? So that's why, I mean, that recognition of the masculine and feminine, and really be in your feminine.
Mm-hmm.
Because as a woman, and I've been there, so you know what, I really know what I'm talking about on a personal level. When you go to your masculine, your body is also going to act, like maybe your cycles are going to be shorter. Maybe you're going to feel more aggressive, like more angry, No bueno. That's not good at all. That's not good at all, because you want softness. And trust me, you can be so powerful and successful being in your feminine power. I mean, for me, Gwyneth Paltrow is a great example, to be honest with you. Like, I think, whether you like it or not, Goop, I think she's really into her feminine, just receiving. Ashley Graham, accepting her body, her cellulite, really in her feminine too. Like, you know what, if you don't like me, that's my problem. So I think we have more and more inspiring women being in their feminine and still, being so successful.
Oh, that was a lot, but it was very good. So things that remind me when you were talking. One, and I'm gonna throw my dad there, but he did say that, and I adore him, right? But I remember when I was young, my dad once said, I don't know why I'm paying college for you if you are gonna end up washing dishes. And I'm sorry that, but it's true. And then I remember thinking, like, I can end up washing dishes, but it has to be my choice. And I want that to be respected, right? And I am 30 years married. I have 2 kids. So I've been in stages when I had the blessing of being home. And it's been my choice to be washing dishes, taking care of my kids, breastfeeding, right? And then I went back to build a business, and it was another stage. But I think that's the beauty of, really going through stages, like you said. For women, it's not like men that they can go just, in one side. Most of men, I am not going to say every man. But for us, there is so much changes that we go through, right? And being in every stage, trying to respect every stage of our lives, that is the key. But yeah, I did wanted to share that, although the guilt to say that about my dad is coming. But I don't know. There is a lot of sayings that we hear as we grow that I think get very deep on us, right? And like you said, my dad is a very open and great person, but he said certain things that were very patriarchal and masculine, because I remember also saying, like, he was very happy that I was born, but he was more happy when my brother was born because he's going to perpetuate the name, right? And I never changed my name. And I think part of that was like, I remember that, right?
Probably, yes, you're probably right.
And I don't think they have a bad intention many times, but those are messages that we as women are hearing, right? As we grow up and we shape ourselves in the woman that we're going to be one day.
I mean, your dad did not know any better.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure, I don't know where you are from, Monica, but
I'm from Bolivia.
Yeah, South America,
Yeah.
so
Very
of course,
macho
very
culture.
patriarchal, macho male, and everything. And so, I mean, he did his best.
Yes.
But, still trying to be a modern dad, but also, the culture of being a Bolivian man, but I mean, you are changing things, receiving support from your husband and decided to stay home to raise your kids, and then finally just going back to business and your husband being here, for you. I think it's beautiful.
That is beautiful. But I do like the part that you were talking about receiving, because I think that's been a hard one in my personal path. And probably because, like we said in the beginning, I had a very young mom that I become the mom of my mom very early in life, right? Because she grew up with me. But then I had a very hard time receiving. And it's been like a journey of life to learn to start receiving. So I will love that you go a little deeper. How important is that to stay in our feminine?
Yeah. So yeah, receiving is very feminine. It's only feminine, there is always that metaphor of the vase, the container is a masculine, and then whatever is inside, the waters, the flowers, is the woman, receiving, to be supported. And so being beautiful, not beautiful in a way, oh, you're just pretty, don't get me wrong here, okay, like beautiful in your smartness, intelligence, etc. But receiving starts with a mother. Receiving starts with a gift of life. Until you don't fully accept the gift of life from your parents, it's going to be very hard to receive. Either you're a man or woman. And of course, if at such a young age, like you, Monica, like in your story, you felt that you had to take care of your mom because she was also so young, so it's kind of like a sister, more than a mother, like a child. You felt like, can I really receive the gift of life from my mom? Because if I completely receive the gift of life, it means that she's my mother. It means that I don't have to take care of her. So you block yourself.
Wow.
You just get a little bit. And then for the rest, like you are like, okay, I'm going to try to juggle, with it. But really receiving, I mean, I can see it right away, like it's receiving the gift of life at first. And we feel sometimes, oh, it is so selfish. I am so guilty. My mom is miserable. My dad does not make enough money. Like there is always that guilt of doing better. Well, actually, that's exactly what you're expected to do, like with the new generation. Do better than your parents. Do better than your mom. Do better than your dad. Because that's the only way forward. You want your children to do better than you. I'm almost sure, you know what? So you want them to take that gift of life and be selfish. Thank you. And yes, go for it.
Yeah.
And then one day, maybe you will have children and you won't be selfish anymore. In a way, you will give to your children. And again, you just learn, like
but it's hard there because, like in my personal case, sorry, I am the example of the day.
Okay, that's beautiful.
But so I have a mom that she got me when I was 16, when she was 16. So then she divorced, of course, although they tried, right? So then I had to grow up. But with my daughter, right, I wanted so much that she is the daughter, that kind of unbalance that too, right? Until you really understand, like, who are you? Like, I never had the chance, I feel, oh no, am I gonna get emotional? I told you, this therapy always puts me emotional. Oof, yeah.
That's okay. You have the right to be emotional.
I think we're gonna keep going because this is getting very emotional for me.
Okay, Monica, yeah. You do whatever you want.
Oof. Anyways, we're gonna talk about you.
No problem.
What was your main, like, where did you break the change in your family?
Why did I break free?
Yes.
Oof. Plenty, because I've been working a lot on me. So
with Family Constellations.
Reconciling the masculine and feminine. I came from a family where women were very strong and men very weak. Mm-hmm. And I think right now, through my own personal life, I'm finally breaking free from that. And I'm finally accepting that I want a man who is strong, actually. I don't want to take care of him. I don't want to be in charge of him. I really want to be in my feminine as a woman, receiving from my man. So this one was big. There is also a story of abandonment between father and children. My father was abandoned, and then my father abandoned me and my brother for 10 years. And so finally, I was so afraid for my brother of losing him that I sent, long story short, it's in my book, I sent an email to my dad and I was like, what are you doing? You know what, like, I'm very afraid, I'm very concerned for my brother. So finally my dad came back into our life. I mean, he's just doing his best, you know what, but at least there is a new peace, there is a new understanding. In my family system also, there was a key age of 13 years old, 13, 14, where it was very detrimental. Loss, sexual abuse, violence, things like that. Yeah, like, that's a big thing, Monica, here, but and above all, I would say also, because again, women in my family are very strong, carrying everything on their shoulders, and I've decided to not do that anymore. To take care of me. Yes. And this also, I hope, I don't have children. I don't know if I will have children, but I'm very close to my nephew, and my niece is going to be born in 2 weeks now, 3 weeks. So I cannot wait to have a new girl, in the family, and I will try to be my best as their auntie and sharing, what I've learned along the way.
Well, thank you for sharing that. That was super beautiful, and it helped me to balance my feelings. Thank you for
got
the help.
Each other.
Yes, but how many generations we go back? I hear that it's 7 generations that you could be carrying on with you. Is that true?
That's true. That's true, Monica. The effect of a family constellations is on 7 generations, but it's 3 before you in the middle, and 3 after you. Because of course, you can be connected to 14 generations before you, but honestly, knowing on 14 generations what happened, good luck. I think simplify. The easier thing to understand is when a woman is pregnant, she is pregnant of 3 generations. So you will always be more connected to your grandmother, mother, and your generation. So if you can only take care of those 3 generations, honestly, I think it's beautiful. If, of course, you can also go back to your great-grandparents, knowing, what happened, amazing too. But you don't need to know that much, like in order to heal, because thinking about adoption, about secrets, like about maybe a mom died at a very young age. So as a child, you don't know what happened.
Mm.
Don't feel bad, don't think, oh my God, like it's a curse, I don't know what to do. Not at all, just the power of recognizing what happened. Just like I recognize what happened in my former generations. I just want to break free from any things that do not belong to me. That's enough.
Wow. Wow. So going back into the masculine and feminine, because I think that that's very important in the family constellations, right? To recognize what is masculine and what is your feminine. Where are you in that balance, right?
Yes. If you receive from both.
I know. Why is so hard for women to receive?
Because we are not raised to receive. We are raised to give.
And how we can raise kids or daughters that are open to receive?
Well, by creating a balance, like, because how many times you ask your older daughter, take care of your siblings, but what about the brother? What about asking your boy to also maybe clean up the dishes, doing the laundry? I mean, men are like, what? I mean, do you really think it's a feminine task, to do the laundry? No.
It's funny that you say that because my husband is German. And my mom always say, like, because he's very like helpful at home, like he does it, he was raised in another culture. And then my mom is always saying, like, oh my gosh, you will be married already 6 to 7 in your seventh husband if it wasn't for Oliver, because who will do that, all of this? Right? And I'm like, Mom, that's normal.
I mean, it's like changing a diaper. Do you think you need to be a woman to master, changing a diaper? It's just how we raise our boys and girls. How we tell a girl, don't show your body, it's bad. Why don't you say to your boys, if a girl say no, like you don't force it, this also will change the entire story. We make our girls already feel guilty
About their
of their periods. It's shameful, like don't talk about it. It's so natural. If you are here today, it's thanks to our periods. Period. I mean, that's it. You know what? Like, I mean, I don't know for you in Bolivia, but I remember in France, the advertisement about buying pad, it was blue. The color was blue, on the pad. I mean, I'm sorry, I've never had anything blue, in my pansy. Like, just, for information. But then, guys are like, it's not blue, but no, sweetie, it's not blue. You know what? Like, so there is that lack of education and just raising your boys. Yes, you can do the laundry. Yes, you can do the grocery. And you can give and receive. And same thing for you, my little girl. Because when you tell a little girl, oh, that little boy was nasty because he loves you, those things, oh, that's so cute, he's mean to you because he loves you. No, that's not cute. Because then that little girl, what she's understanding is like, oh, okay, so if a guy is mean to me, it means he loves me. So guess what's going to happen? She's going to go to the bad boy. It's like, oh, great, he is mean. He loves me very much.
Yeah. No, that's so true. But going back to the diapers, I think also when you, like the culture that is going to make the woman do that and men are not supposed, whatever. I notice what happened in my family. So my husband has been always very helpful. And my dad, the first time he was changing a pamper was to my daughter, right? But I think he was also taken away from a gift of life when he didn't have the right mentally, because it's not like it's written, but culturally to really have changed our diapers, right? It's something also taken from the men, not just, it's also, if you understand what I'm saying? Like my dad never had a chance to change our pampers.
Yes.
And that was a gift.
Like, do it.
Yeah, that was a gift of experience that it was taken from him too, culturally.
Yeah,
right?
I do agree with you on that. Honestly, Monica, I do agree. I also think because I see my friends, like being a single mom in a relationship and being a mom with a partner, you know, like I see the difference. I think again, it's like you have to do everything on your own. And then my girlfriend has that fabulous response. He doesn't know how to do it. And it's not true.
No.
It's not that he does not know how to do it. He is not going to do it the same way as you.
Ooh, wow.
But
And
if
you have
you
to be
want,
okay with that, right? Yeah.
and I mean, of course, your partner, you know, by telling him, oh my God, what did you do with the diaper? What did you do with the clothes? I mean, your man is going to give up. He doesn't want to be emasculated, you know, and minimized. I mean, you have to choose your battles.
Correct.
I don't care, you know, if my child looks like a clone, you know, like, you know what, it's okay, you know, like he will survive. What I care about is that my husband feels, you know, he has a place and he can also do whatever he wants with his own children. And that's our issue as a woman.
Ooh,
Always thinking that we can do better than men. That's not true.
no, no,
That's not true at all.
no. But I hear you and I have seen that. And how is that that starts to unbalance the dynamic, right? And that's what our kids start learning.
Exactly. Because then it's like, oh, I can see my mom is doing more, so I should do more. And then, oh, I can see my dad, you know, is more absent, so I guess, you know, I will be more absent. Your children witness everything. Your relationship with your partner is going to be the first definition of love for them.
Yeah.
So, I
And
mean,
we
of
are
course,
going to love in the future in the way we were loved,
exactly.
right?
Until you finally heal from it. Yes.
Oof. But we go back to the healing, right?
Yep.
Through family constellations today. And how is a session of family constellations? How it works for people that don't know?
In private or in a group setting, Monica?
Where we don't go through both.
Okay. So in a group setting, you were mentioning that TV show on Netflix. The name is Another Self. And I think it's a great one to see how it works, you know, in a group. But you can also find videos on YouTube if you type Family Constellations or Bert Hellinger, for example. In a group setting, the participants are going to represent on your behalf the situations that you would like to heal from. Basically, it looks like a role play where people are going to channel, you know, the emotions, the situations, the feelings, part of that situation. It's very deep. Because of course, right now you might be like, what? How can strangers feel my mom's feelings, you know, my dad's feelings? Well, I'm not going to go too deep in the details, but it's called quantum physics. When you place, you know, a group of people in the same moment, you can feel, you know, like what's going on. I mean, it's very easy. When you go to a new place, a new restaurant, or when you meet someone new, right away, you know if it's going to click or not. Right away, you can be like, you know what? I don't feel it. It's nothing personal. It's just like, that's the energy. In a private session, I work remotely or in person. In person, I use props. I use footsteps that my clients place on the floor, you know, to represent the constellation. And remotely, I use cards with a picture on it and a word. It's the same efficiency because people, props, or cards, they work with your subconscious. Because family constellations, the first part is based on the conscious. What is your story? Your parents, you know, like your grandparents, you know, so here you're just thinking about it. And then the constellation brings you into your subconscious. Okay, your story is wonderful, but what's truly going on a feeling level? Because that's where the true healing is. And so that's what we do.
Yeah. But it was amazing because I've been in a group family constellation and I've been in individual sessions. I couldn't believe, like, when I was representing someone for somebody else, it was weird because the way I was talking, it was not my way. Like, I knew it was energy from somebody else. But the most fun in one family constellations, I represent money.
Ah, yep.
And that was so cool.
Yeah.
I love that one.
I agree with you. I agree with you. When you represent money or love or peace, like it's very nice. It's a very nice feeling.
Yeah. So that was super cool. In the individual one was where I most emotional felt, and it was like, I'm telling you, like I have done so many things. I never felt the intensity emotional, like I couldn't, it was sobbing. It was not just crying, right? I couldn't put myself together. And I really went back because I didn't have too much relation with my grandma, and like I didn't know much about them, just because my mom was raised in Argentina and we live in Bolivia, and I didn't have the contact growing up. But there was memories and things that came up that, wow, right? But my next question is about how young can you do this, and if you can do it for a son or a daughter, or it has to be the person.
So 2 questions. The first one
Yes.
is, my youngest client was 16 years old.
Mhm.
And that's funny because she just sent me an email on Sunday thanking me for the work we've done together, because she just graduated. So it was very touching. I would say, honestly, I would say 18, 20, but sometimes 16 years old, but not less. That's personal. Okay.
Mhm.
Then you never work on behalf of anyone else.
Every person is
When you
responsible.
do that, you take their destiny away from them. Of course, sometimes, for example, I have a client, let me put it that clear. I think it was that when she was pregnant, her sister-in-law, so her husband's sister, got kidnapped and killed. And it was very traumatic.
Mhm.
And she was pregnant of her child. And right now, that child, he's a teenager now, is having a lot of anger issues and violence.
Mhm.
In that case, I was like, I cannot work on your son directly, but we can work on the sister-in-law, on the kidnapping, on the violence,
Mhm.
And then I would even say, ask your husband to come, which he did actually. So
Wow.
that's how we took care of that situation, trying, like to help the son to release any entanglements. Because I do believe for sure, like that he felt, that violence and that, horrible pain, and
Mhm.
anxiety and everything. But sometimes, not all the time, people are like, okay, I'm here for my mom. I'm like, I'm glad. Where is she? Because we hide behind our bullshit, thinking that it's her fault, it's his fault. Well, actually, it's you. You're here for you.
Yeah.
Like, maybe your mom is not bothered by your relationship, but you are. So this is right here, taking full responsibility for what you want.
Ooh, amen. I think that's the hardest for people, for all of
Yes,
us, because everything around us has been a decision that we have taken, right? The things that come in our lives are just reflecting our thoughts and our
completely.
decisions.
Yeah,
And it's our responsibility to change that, right?
only our responsibility, completely.
And I love, always I'm saying, like, if in this life you are aware of any of this, of like resonates with you in any way, just do it, because we don't know how it could be in another life if we're going to come back with that awareness, right? And also is a lot of talking about fifth dimension. What is your understanding about that? It's a moment of like healing for the whole planet right now. We need to heal at this point of our evolution.
We have been evolving, growing in a very individualistic world
Ooh.
where I am me,
Mhm.
me. While actually, at the end of the day, we all want the same thing.
Mhm.
We all want to be happy and our children to be happy.
Yeah.
And we have been in a world where, unfortunately, there is a huge loss of identity,
Mhm.
giving too many options, too many
Mhm.
choices, which I don't think
It's good.
it's good. I don't
Mhm.
believe in it. And I think now it's within the collective that we are stronger, that we can
Mhm.
heal together.
Mhm.
And when we finally accept and recognize that we all want the same thing,
Mhm.
we will
We
be in
will
our
see.
power.
But how you can kind of connect and balance the being selfish, right? Like receiving, and at the same time being part of the collective.
But being selfish is not a bad word.
Oh,
Being
go ahead.
selfish is not
I
a
love
bad
it.
word, it's nothing wrong with it. Because
Mhm.
if, for example, you as a mom, Monica, you don't take care of yourself.
Mhm.
You look very pretty, like, and everything, you do what you love. If you are not doing that, do you really think you could be as a great mom as you are now? No. I'm going to tell you the answer, no. Because you will be resentful.
And I really hope moms can hear this.
Yeah.
Because we have been taught, no, you are the leftover, right? First your kids, right? But I
You have to,
really think it's the opposite.
I mean,
And thank
you
you for bringing
cannot
that.
fill up the cup of your kids literally by not taking care of yourself.
Because they are watching you. They are learning
And
from you.
and again, I'm not a mother, but I see the difference between my friends who take care of themselves and my friends who do not take care of themselves. And it's like a huge difference. And I've been raised by a mother who is the CEO of 5, 6, even now 9 or 8, law firms, like in the entire world, like always beautiful, always smart, like she
Mhm.
got it. Of course, you cannot have everything at the same time. Completely agree with that. But taking care of yourself is mandatory. And then,
Ooh.
because then again, as I was telling you, you start resenting your life. You start resenting your kids,
Mhm.
your friends who look like having a better life, than you.
Mhm.
But your kids never ask you to give up on yourself. They never.
Ooh, wow. Yeah.
And when you put this on your kids, I'm sorry, but you're not taking responsibility for what you want in your life.
I know. Can you imagine what we do? Like in general, like many times, you are putting the heavy weight on the kids that
Yeah.
didn't have a choice. They just,
They are
playing
here
along the
because
game.
you wanted them,
Yeah.
because you had sex with your husband, period.
Yeah.
But if it's too much now to have 5 kids rather than one, it is your choice here. It is your decision. And that lack of responsibility is detrimental to your children.
Yeah. Totally.
So circling back to your thing,
Mhm.
when you are selfish, when you have your boundaries, when you take care of yourself, you fill up your cup.
Mhm.
So then you can be part of the collective
Ooh.
because you're happy with yourself.
Yeah. And it's the same in relations, right?
Of course.
Because you cannot come trying to put it in the other person. And I grew up in this culture that is so conservative where women are supposed to make the husband happy, right? When I got married in my 20s, I thought that was what I was supposed to do. And then I had my aha moment. And thanks God I have a husband that can handle all of that, because I had that conversation where I said, like your happiness on you. I come here being happy already. You don't need to make me happy either. But two happy people meet and enjoy the time together, right? But to get there is a whole journey, because culture puts you in a way that, oh no, right? Like it's everything about pleasing the other person. And if the other person is not happy, it's your fault. And it's not true. It's the same concept that you are bringing up here.
And you're absolutely right, Monica. Like thinking that, oh, if I am with a man, I'm going to feel more beautiful, I'm going to feel more confident, I'm going to feel complete. I mean, sure, you can always do that, always, but you're going to be in trouble. You're going to suffer.
And like, what do you think are the signs that a person can have that they really need a session of family constellations? Like, they need
Well,
it.
I just want to say we all have a family.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So you know what? You don't even need any signs. Like we all have a family. We all have a background, more or less heavy, of course, like some families are easier than others, but there are no perfect family. It does not exist.
No, no. And I think like many things is not just how you give in your understanding where you are, but how it's received, right? And like one of the biggest complaints of my daughter, that is also a lawyer like your mom, so is that I was too happy when she was growing up.
Ah,
And that was very interesting because I had to analyze what that really meant, right? Because you make an effort to be a happy mom because sometimes, like I said, is how they receive it, right? But I have another son and he has kind of my same like happiness soul levels that we go very easy there. My daughter was born more in my husband energy, that
German.
they are more earthy, right? More real. We can go to the clouds and live there happy ever after. But then I had to understand that her way of her own soul is different than mine. So then for her was a little heavy not to be able to get there as easy as it was for me or for my son. So, and probably for her it's been, and sometimes we are going to create certain things as parents that with good intentions, I can go back again to my mom and say, like, she had me at 16. Who does that? Like, she gave me the gift of life, right? So much courage. But for me, it was a very big weight because it was like, okay, if she kind of lost her life for me, I always felt this heaviness of responsibility. I had to be good. I had to achieve, like, because of the sacrifices, right? So I think that we have to bring it because it's not just to come from a family where they were parents that really wanted to harm you. Everybody's living a different story for where we are, right? But I think if we all are able to see ourselves and our kids and our parents and try to really clean any energy that we haven't impacted without knowing, I think we all are going to find a reason why it could help us to grow and to understand each other more, right? Because like you said, we are also just looking for being loved and heard and respected.
And thank you so much for sharing your example, because you don't need to be in an abusive family, like to have a heavy past. It's just then it's your daughter's personality,
Yeah.
it's your son's personality, and it's how they perceived it. That's it. You know what? Like, and I mean, the only advice, if I may
Yes,
give an advice
please.
to parents, is like, as long as you love your children,
Oh, yeah.
you see them, you hear them, and you recognize them for who they are, I mean, honestly, the job is almost done.
Yes. No, totally. And I think the other thing is to see also what they are teaching us, right? Because many parents come with the idea that we are the ones that are teaching them how to be in this life, right? That's so much ego involved there because really we are there to learn so much from them, right? But if you also are a parent, I think it's beautiful to have a session because we want to break. If you feel so much love for your kids, break everything you can, because you are really opening the energetic path for them. Like going back to my beautiful daughter, she's not like, she's not in energy and all of these things she's more earthy. So I think to get her in a family constellation will be like not easy, but there is so
Well,
much
it's her
that
choice. She will do
Yes,
whatever she
totally
wants.
respected, right? But you can do it, right? You can heal you. And that somehow is going to impact everybody. You don't have to force anybody to do something that you believe. And, she does like a regular therapy
Very
with
good.
her friends. Like that's her way, right? But if you are a person that believes in all of this, I think there is always one in every family that come. And they are the ones, we are the ones that we are going to change the whole ecosystem, can we say, or like system in our family system.
Yeah, family system, Monica.
I think it will be beautiful to do it. And what are you up to right now? Are you writing another book? What is your plan?
So I was working on another book, but I decided to pause for now because I just want to focus more on retreats and workshops and doing those type of things, connection, with a collective. But yeah, I am in the United States. I'm between Los Angeles, Miami, and New York.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I work one-on-one session. I offer workshops, in those three states. And let's see, what the future holds for me. Yeah.
I am in Orange County, very close from LA.
We are. I'm in Long Beach right now. So.
Oh my gosh, we should have done in person this.
You see? I'm in Long Beach.
Now that we realize that we are close.
I'm in Long Beach.
And what will be your message for anybody that's watching this?
Choose yourself, love yourself. Really, it's so important. Be selfish. Honestly, be selfish. Take care of yourself. Follow your gut. You have your family, of course, but it's not everything. Then it's your own story. It's your own destiny, and you can just do it the way you want to do it.
And Marine, how long is a family? Like, how many times do you have to do it? Like, what a person can expect from that?
Honestly, Monica, here it's very
Individual.
It depends, of every client's needs. Some clients work with me for 3 years, 1 year, 2 years. Some others just one session. Some others just 3 months, 6 months. It depends on the client's needs.
And what happens after? Because there is some therapies that I have done, and then you have to integrate. And while you're integrated, could be a little like confusing. Like, why did I really do that? Because I feel worse after for a little. Is that with family constellations, or
sometimes yes? I mean, I don't believe in worse or better. I just believe that you are processing something.
Yes.
So that's why I always say it's always better to do a follow-up after 2 weeks, just to see how you feel. But people do not listen most of the time. So then, I'm very an independent therapist. I trust my clients' needs. I'm not here to be their mom. So I really want them to be responsible for their healing journey. So I just trust my clients. I mean, I should have done more, I would have maybe making more money, like to be honest with you, but I don't believe in forcing people, I think when you are ready, and you just have also to feel it, what you need at the moment. And I am no one to tell you how to feel with your therapy.
Wow. I love it. I love that you really put the response, like we are looking for people to be responsible, because that happens also with, like when people get sick, right? They want a doctor because then it's the doctor's, how bad their doctor is. But it's not really that, right? Because your health, your responsibility.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, but thank you so much. I
Thank you
really
so much,
enjoy
Monica.
knowing you. And for everybody that is watching, please subscribe. And we are in a beautiful journey. Also help us commenting, because as you do, this expands and more people can find Marine, and more people can see if they resonate with this type of therapy. Because like she said in the beginning, if you are called, it's like you're going to listen and you're going to say, I want to do that. So we're going to put her link in the description. And thank you for everybody watching. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Monica. Thank you so
I
much.
can't wait to meet you in person now that I know you are so close.